Well guys, I wanted to shoot a quick garden update for you. We're just going to go around with each plant and talk about it. First thing off is I'd like to talk about what I have in the cinder blocks. I have Brussels sprouts here in the end, and the one on the right has vermiculite and the one on the left does not have vermiculite. And we also have Brussels sprouts that were planted at the same time right here. And what you'll notice is that they're not doing very good in that cinder block. So I'm contemplating pulling them out of the cinder block. They obviously don't do very good there, and putting them somewhere that they will do good. The other Brussels sprouts though, they look incredible, and with exception of a few bug bites, and we'll go over that in a minute. Here we have some beets. Again, the right side has vermiculite and the left side does not. And I can't see that there's too much difference or change there. We have carrots planted here, vermiculite in the right side, not vermiculite in the left, and again, not a lot of difference. We have some broccoli that I had started initially in my my do-it-yourself wicking starter bed, and I didn't recommend doing that. If you want, go back and take a look at the video, and I'll post a link up here. I'll post a link to that video talking about the wicking starters, and you can see that they really aren't any bigger. Matter of fact, these are smaller than the ones I started later in the season, and so I'm just not wasn't impressed with that. Here we have the cabbage, and again, this cabbage is doing more poorly in better soil, but doing more poorly than the cabbage that we put in at the same time. So again, I think it has to do with constraining of the roots and or it drying out and not containing moisture as long as what the rest of the garden does. Okay, here we have carrots, again beets and more carrots, and here you can see carrots that I started in the dirt, in place like you see it, and beets started in place right here in the cinder block, planted from seed. Here we have the carrots that I started in my wicking beds, and you can see the height. We're about 2.5 inches, and the height here about 3. So again, the wicking beds do not work. Alright, squash in 2 mounds. I will be pulling out 1 or 2 of these plants, maybe giving them to the neighbors. Cucumber here, again doing well. Beans, my beans aren't doing very good, not very happy with it, but I don't know, heck, what can you say? I've been putting compost tea on it, and that's the fertilizer that I can afford right now. Here we have, I believe this is Little Gem lettuce, or no, Black Seed Simpson, and then we have Little Gem lettuce, and then we have broccoli, again doing very good. I've moved these out of my wicking beds and put them here. Some of the broccoli is doing better than others, and some of the lettuce is doing better than others, but again, I did start that in my wicking bed. You can see the difference, and I intentionally did this. I left off the compost. Again, I'll put a link up here in this corner of the screen. I left the compost that I picked up, 100% free compost out of the woods, I put over here and in my other bed. I left it uncovered here because I wanted to do a comparison as to what it would look like. And now you can see all of the weeds and the grass growing up, and you can see how much more work that this side is going to be unless I cover it right away. So again, put compost on top of your garden, guys and gals. Let's take a look at the tomatoes. I have been pulling off the suckers as we go. I have them strung up with twine, and it's the cheapest stuff I could find, so I don't know if it'll work, but we're going to give it a shot. Again, pulling suckers off. Since the last time, the tomatoes are now they're getting Here we go, getting quite nicely, large quite nicely. I'm excited about that. I accidentally missed a sucker on this plant, and so let me back up here. I missed a sucker on this plant, so last night when I caught that, I decided I'm going to go ahead and root it on the plant. And so I used this idea from MHP Gardener, and I highly recommend going to see his channel. I'll put a link to his channel up here. But MHP Gardener takes a small 20-ounce bottle, cuts it in half, fills it with dirt, and lets the sucker root on the plant before pulling it off or cutting it off the plant. And therefore you speed up the rate at which this plant then will start to produce. And usually you cut the production time or growing time down by 2 weeks in doing that process. And my Roma tomatoes are finally taken off. Peppers, a little bit yellow. I'm not sure what's going on here, but the peppers are still struggling, and I haven't been watering them. I thought maybe I was overwatering them, but now I haven't been watering them too much, so I'm starting to think that maybe I'm missing something. And then let's go back to my plants here. You can see on the Brussels sprouts in particularly, I haven't found any of the bugs that are doing this to the leaves, but it's usually the ones that are the lower ones. Well, there we go, there's a slug right there. I don't know if they do that or not, but even if they do, I don't mind them eating the bottom one. But I'm starting to see some up here now in the upper leaves. However, I think, having better luck this year than what I had last year with my plants not being eaten. And LDS Prepper says he thinks that has to do with healthy plants, bugs not liking healthy plants as much as they like the ones that are sick. So whether that's true or not, I think that remains to be seen, but for now that's the garden update, and I will keep you updated with more. I'll do another update, I'd say, within the next 2 weeks.
If you found this video to be helpful, informative, or otherwise entertaining, don't forget to subscribe. And remember to smile for a stranger today. You'll both be glad you did.